And then Audacity. E.
Sorry, but he's so confused.
No, I've got a new laptop and I haven't plugged in the Blue Snowball before, so I'm hoping that on Audacity it's working as
You
well
can try
as
it out
via Zoom.
Zdravo
Hello.
svima.
Exactly. Oh my God, we never synchronize. Zdravo svima. Ja sam Ivana.
Ja sam Maki I.
Ja sam Michael I probam da maximize this video. Okay, got it.
Okay. So as you already know, today we have a guest. His name is Michael, and you might know him from his podcast, English podcast in Serbia. And you're becoming quite popular because you have some celebrities in your podcast. So, you know, I want to mention some of them, you know what I mean? So he's interviewed Tiago Ferreira, for example, Liz Duong, Magdalena Petrović-Jelić, Serbonica, aka Serbonica. And also, as you mentioned before, some other talents in Serbia. So in Serbia or outside of Serbia, for example, I watched the video with Jovana Miletic, which was really quite fascinating. So for example, would you say that this is exactly what you do, or how would you explain your podcast?
Yes, I would say that. Firstly, thank you so much for the lovely compliments. It's always a shock to me that someone's actually listening to the blabber that comes out of my mouth. So yes, that would be, I would say that's what I want to do. That's my goal, is to show artists, professionals and talents in Serbia.
I think this is a really good
Serbia, right? If they are living like in another country, you still try to get them on the show, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we want to say dobrodošao, of course, and we're gonna ask you so many questions. But it's going to be just casual talk, and just no pressure. Even though maybe Maki scares you a bit, it's not going to be intimidating. It's just going to be.
Maki's a very lovely young lady.
Oh, thank you. And you can use our tactic. Like last time when you invited us, we bombarded you with questions. You can do that as well if you have the spot.
But I think the point of this podcast or this episode is we just want to get to know you, because our listeners probably want to get to know you. And I couldn't really find a lot about you. So this is why the episode is such a good opportunity for us to get to know you a bit more.
Yeah, I have a guess about it as from our last conversation. You don't like to hang out in social media, right, Michael?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's dig into that.
Yes. Okay, let's start. We're ready. Okay, so I actually added this question. We have like a notes with our questions. So what is your story before you got to Serbia? So because we know what you're doing right now, we kind of know how you got there, but how would you explain it what would you emphasize?
How I got here? Well, my mother, she started working here in Serbia, and I was in boarding school in the UK. So I would fly out here every holiday for, say, 3 weeks or Christmas, and I would just do my studying revision here. But during that time, I would walk around and see Belgrade, the Sava Temple, Knez Mihailova, Kalemegdan, all the traditional tourist attractions. And then, so that was for 2 years, and then I finished school. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't think about going to university at the time. I didn't know what job I wanted to go into. So I thought, okay, I'll have a gap year here. I'll take a year off and find myself, like a yogi.
Is this the gap year?
this now.
This was 5 years ago.
No.
Right? Okay, I was like, what? The gap, 5 gap, gap a decade.
Who knows? That might work. That might be a good idea. So I started a course here. Well, the first day I got here after finishing school in the summer was I went to a international school, kindergarten, where my brother worked, and I was with some kids, getting to know them, just having a bit of fun. And then I started a CELTA course, teaching English as a foreign language here in International House Belgrade. And I from there I started to enjoy living here. And because my parents, they had 1 more year left in Serbia, so I thought, I'm just going to stay here, see what happens. And the people, the culture, the city, the vibe, the atmosphere, everything just took over me, and I thought I need to stay. But also that part of that could be I did stay because, of course, typical cliche story, I met a girl.
Love.
And yes.
I was expecting that, to be honest. So.
That's a very cliche, but
it happens.
What
can you do? Really fascinating. Actually, it makes me ask you another question. How did your parents get here? Like, why Serbia? No, because I mean, probably maybe coincidence, but I don't know how.
My mum, she's with the Foreign Office, so she worked with the British Embassy in Belgrade. Okay.
She got allocated here. Or...
Yes, exactly. Yes. So she usually, throughout her life, she's gone to different postings, and Serbia, Belgrade was one of those postings.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have a question. So when you decided to stay, how was her reaction?
Oh my God.
Excellent question, Maki. So I can't remember, maybe perplexion or confusion or well, my parents, my mum, I suppose her reaction was, whatever you want to do, what's best for you. Okay. She has left me to my own devices, and my parents have been like that for my life. Is they allow me to decide what's best for me, and try not to put, of course, parents are going to want to control certain aspects. That's inherent, that's natural for parents to do. But I think they've always tried to take a back seat and say, here's the advantages, here are the disadvantages, you make the decision, because ultimately that's how one learns.
I think that's an amazing approach. Because the thing is that you have to be realistic. It's like, listen, I know you're in love and I know you like certain sides of Serbia, but you know, there are also negative sides, as it is in Britain as well. Like it's all like pros and cons. You just have to decide what works for you. So, you know, and just giving you that freedom to choose and maybe make a mistake, I think not everyone has that, you know, so when they're younger. So I think that's your mom is clever. Your parents are clever.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I agree with you. It's fortunate to be in that position, and yeah.
Our second question was, how did you decide to stay? But you kind of already answered that. So there was this one pull that kept you in Serbia. So yeah, I don't know if you want to share a bit more about that, or is that was the primary reason, or was it like the combination of things?
Well, Ivana, it's a very good question, because a lot of people ask me, why did you stay in Serbia? And I believe there are many factors.
Yeah.
I did used to think is it just because I found love and I had a girlfriend? But then I spoke with a therapist about this, and he said, well, that's not the only reason you stayed then, because I'm not with her anymore. So yeah, disclaimer, I'm not
disclaimer, yeah. But listen, Tiago had the similar Tiago had a similar story, so I guess you can identify with him. Yeah.
So yeah, there are many factors. It was the girlfriend, but then I suppose over time the attractions were like, I suppose I felt like I could renew myself in a completely different place where people didn't judge me for reasons which I was judged at a younger age.
Oh.
So I felt a lot of love and acceptance coming here. And yeah, when I say judgment, I mean I was in a school which was full of millionaires, rich kids. Like,
what's the name of the school?
Bedford School.
Oh, I don't know about that one. Bedford. Okay, I know about Harrow, right? Harrow, that one, but yeah, I don't know about that.
And yeah, that's a very popular school. And well, I was in that environment with all these rich kids, but I myself, I wasn't. I got there through scholarship. I was studying. My dad was forcing me to study. I know I said before, they allowed me to do my own thing, but this is where my dad was like, study, study, study.
Yeah.
So I studied a lot for that at like 11 years old. And then I got into this school based off scholarship, and also my mum's job, working for the government at the time. A perk of that was that they would fund the scholarship. So I was in an environment with kids who wiped their ass with £20 notes. They spread money everywhere, and I didn't know, I didn't fit in because I couldn't go out on the weekend with some friends. They would go to London, and I'm on my own, and just loads of things. I couldn't go on holiday. I couldn't go on trips with people because everything in my mind was about, how much is this going to cost? I can't afford this. So maybe it's difficult for some people to understand, because I know I was in an incredibly privileged position. I'm not saying that. I was very privileged. I've had an excellent education, and there's been many benefits to it, but yeah, I lost my train of thought there, but it was...
No, I completely, I at least can empathize with you completely, even though I haven't really gone through that. But, you know, as you said, you kind of stand out, you know, and it's tough because it's noticeable, because you can't just kind of, like, you're almost one of the rare ones over there who's like, hey, I can't, you know what I mean? And for when you're younger, it's all about peers. It's all about your friends. Like, no, like, it's all about, if you don't have friends, that, I mean, that's like, you have nothing basically, at least at that time. But I think you being in Serbia really gives you an opportunity to also learn about yourself. So being like in a new environment, as you said, to define yourself, not to have that kind of prejudice you experienced over there, but now to, you know, explore who you are and what you want. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for that.
Definitely. I also have a very similar experience, so I totally get you as well. So that's very nice part of living in a different country. You can just rebuild your own persona. So that's the beauty of being an expat in a different country, for sure.
Yeah. Maki, you've been in so many countries. So I can completely understand that.
Me too.
Okay.
Sorry, Maki, have you lived anywhere else?
Yeah, this is my fifth
Where?
country actually.
Wow.
So I lived in other countries in Europe, like Spain, and I lived in the US. So, but the other countries are in the Balkans.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's why
just to spare your listeners, I'm sorry to interrupt. They've probably heard this before, and I need to do more homework and listen that you've probably mentioned before that you've
actually no, right?
No?
I mean, we maybe touched upon it, but not in detail for sure. So
yeah, I only know about Kosovo and
Mhm.
the US, but that's all I know. Where you
Spain,
I didn't know about Spain. Where
no,
Spain?
Barcelona. Actually, Tarragona, Barcelona, in between. It was
Tarragona,
like
okay.
a small town in between.
Wait, are you kidding me? My friend, she's here in Berlin. She's Spanish. She's from Tarragona.
Oh my God,
I
need
can't
to
believe
know
like a
her.
tiny. This is crazy. It's not even like
I
a
know
big
so many
town.
places in Tarragona, so we need to talk.
Oh, okay, crazy. There you go. I have to do my homework. No, so what is your? I think we talked about this before, but what was your biggest cultural shock in Serbia? Oh, one of them.
Just back in
Yes,
time.
sorry, sometimes people criticize me, well, not people, but my mum. She will say to me, like, I've asked you a question, it's a simple answer, you don't need to breathe in and wait ages to think about it and analyze, just answer, just say something. People don't want silence. So I would say the cultural shock, without getting it wrong, I would say see, this is what I mean. I just analyze. I want to be precise as possible.
It's okay. I think that
We won't
people
be
want
offended.
no, people want to hear you. So they don't want to hear and like a formulated answer, you know, like if you like that's that's going to keep them at their podcast. So, you know, maybe they do like that you sit down and you think about that and you're like, you know, and so yeah, go for it.
That's true. Thank you, Ivana.
Or maybe with your girlfriend something.
I was thinking of this.
Yeah.
Like in about relationship, I guess.
Well, I just thought of one, was how direct people are here in
Yeah.
terms of there's no sugarcoating things. So I don't know if it's a cultural shock, if it's a British thing, or if it was how I was brought up, but I was taught to be very diplomatic in how you address a concern to someone. Say if they're overweight, you don't just go, "You are a fat bastard, lose some weight, get on the treadmill." You don't say that. You would say, "I have a concern. I would like to raise a concern with you. Such and such, you've been gaining some weight for some time. I'm caring because I care about you and I want the best for you. What do you think about this?" Something like that. And in Serbia, it's quite direct. It's yeah. I'm not saying they don't have manners, but yeah.
It depends on how close you are to the person. Because I'm guessing like your boss would never tell you that, right? But if it's like your friend or something, or like your acquaintance or your like family friends, like something like that, someone who you're not that close to, but is in your surrounding, like your neighbors or whatever, they would just be like, "Oh, it's still Goila." Like you gained some weight, you know, like, "Oh, just come on," you know. So yeah, it would be so direct. And I never really thought about that because whenever I go to Serbia, I kind of like expect it and switch to that mindset. While I'm in Germany, I don't really like I don't act like that, you know, so.
Sorry to take this off on a tangent, but that reminded me, Ivana, so you say like you change into that Serbian mentality when you return. Do you ever have you ever spoken with your parents in English in front of your international friends?
If I've ever spoken to my parents in English.
Yeah. Have you?
My parents don't know English.
Right. Okay.
My parents don't know any language. They just know Serbian. So I think it's also it goes back to, I'm just used to it. I don't think I consciously use the language as I'm using it, because I also like being vegan in Serbia for me is very difficult because I'm just like so used to eating foods that I'm eating over there. I don't associate it with something bad, but in this context, it is bad for me, so it's like like the same goes with the language, I just go over there and I just talk as I'm used to talking. And nowadays that I'm like everything that I'm learning, everything like that, I'm like self-reflecting or whatever, I do everything in English. And I want to try to translate, like, talking to a therapist and everything that you already mentioned, and I'm like, how do I know how to say this properly in English without offending someone? How do I do that in Serbian? And it's so difficult to find the words because we're just so nonchalant and like just say things.
Actually, that happens in our podcast as well. I prepare questions in English for Ivana to translate. And I ask like, would you mind telling me blah, blah, or, I just use the English version of the question. And then Ivana's like, we never say that. We never ask this question that way. There's no word. That word is not used in that way. So that's one of our arguments, I guess, in many questions.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions, but actually now that we talked about, I really want to touch upon stereotypes, actually. So I'm with a guy who did who spent a lot, like 20 years. The free meeting. Okay.
Before we continue with the show, here's a quick reminder. This podcast is free for everyone and supported by listeners like you. We hope that this podcast is useful and convenient to you. This is a labor of love for both of us. To help us continue creating useful content for everyone, we will appreciate your help. If you have the means, you can support us in different ways. You may just go to buymeacoffee.com/mozdekafa podcast and send us some cups of coffee. You may also become a member of our show on patreon.com/mozdekafa podcast and get extra benefits like bonus content, full transcripts of the show in Serbian, or even join us on the show. We rely on your support to help everyone more in learning Serbian language and culture. Thanks for joining us today. And now let's get back to our episode.
So I'm with a guy who spent like 20 years in, not London, but like England. He has a lot to say about me. And I also have a lot to say about him. But so some of the stereotypes he would say about Serbs are that they get angry pretty easily. Is this something you can confirm or deny, considering that you were in a relationship? So being angry, just going off on someone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
Oh, that didn't really help in the relationship.
Ivana was like counting on you, Mike.
But yeah, I definitely more passionate. We're passionate about our. What about Inat? Do you know Inat?
Remind me. It's like
so doing something. How did we translate it?
For the sake of doing, you do it in spite of like whatever they expect from you. You just do it, like just to show your identity, yourself, like your idea.
So for example, if I say, come on, you can't finish the university, it's like it's not for you, and you're like, okay, now I'm gonna show you, and you basically just do things just to prove that the other person was wrong, because you can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna show you what I can do, basically.
Even if you don't want to finish university, you still do it just to prove that person wrong.
That's mental.
Oh,
honestly, that is mental. I've heard of something like that before, but of course, everything you do should be or I would like it to be for yourself.
Yeah, but you didn't notice this in us, in like in Serbian people, that we have inat. Come on, you need to know about this word, inat.
Okay. Yeah. I know one friend who did that. Yeah. He was like, oh, you just prove everyone wrong. Like, he's an architect. I'm making the best designs. You say I can't. You say my designs are shit. Then can I swear on your podcast?
Of course.
Okay. And then he's like, yeah, then fuck you. I'm gonna show you who's boss. I'm gonna show you that I know. Yeah. So
Interesting.
Okay,
Michael.
I need to wash my mouth out now. I do apologize to the Morja Kafa listeners. Any of you A1 level young learners, you had to hear that terrible language. It's not Ivano Maki.
Wait, do I ever swear, Maki? I think you don't, but do I ever? I think I said a word.
Sometimes while like referencing movies, or like, I guess when we had this episode on nicknames, maybe we used a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Insults though, not like swears.
Yeah, we do talk about insults. That's true. I mean, it's a part of a language, right? So
speaking of bad words, Michael, I'm curious about how you learned Serbian. I mean, we talked about it before a little bit, but what was the biggest challenge for you? And what was the easy part of Serbian for you?
Biggest challenge most likely was getting out of my comfort zone to talk with people and just not resorting to English all the time, which is very easy because Serbian people have phenomenal English and they all want to learn, they all want to speak. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So that would be the biggest challenge. And the easiest thing, definitely the way you speak it. Definitely, because it's the way you read it. So you say it out loud because every letter is pronounced in the word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good. And what's your level right now, you would say?
I'd say maybe, well, Magdalena, in the beginning, she thought I was an A1, but then we spoke in Serbian for a while and she said I'm about a B1. So.
Okay, good.
But,
Becky, do you want to choose, because we have loads of questions, do you want to choose something that you particularly care about asking? Because I think I already asked some of the juicy ones.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the places in Serbia, but before that, as we talked about your story, how you ended up here, what you miss the most about your country, your culture?
Nothing.
I
mean, your parents?
No,
unexpected.
Maybe parents. Sorry, mom and dad, if you're listening to this, I don't miss you at all.
Like any dish?
Any dish? Fish and chips.
Okay, sorry to remind you of that.
Why did you have to bring that up?
Fish and chips.
Oh,
definitely not a thing.
Haddock.
Definitely not a thing in Serbia. Definitely.
Definitely not a thing, but I've been to some restaurants where they sell fish and chips in Belgrade.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's Belgrade. Belgrade is special.
Yeah. But
Is Belgrade your favorite place in Serbia?
No.
Wow. Where is it then?
Fruška Gora.
Oh,
Ivana. I was expecting Kaponik for that answer.
Fruška Gora. Well, it's kind of the closest thing you have to mountain in Vojvodina, that area. And it is beautiful. It is quite beautiful. You just have to know where to go.
What do you like there? Yeah.
A number of things. I like initially the forest, one with nature, I sound like such a hippie. It's so because I'm like one with nature in Fruška Gora, and I climb the trees, and there's a lake there, and it's green turquoise color, and I go swimming there. I actually did. There's a lovely lake there, and it's wonderful just walking around. There are plum trees on the street. I just pick
That's
plums and
true.
eat them.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
what is one place that you would like to visit in Serbia? So if you say Fruška Gora is like for now the favorite place, is there one place where you're like, I really need to go there in Serbia?
Kruševac to meet Maki.
Yeah, good answer.
You know that they are called, are they called Čerapani, right?
Čerapani, yes.
Čerapani. Yeah, they're.
You told me that. They didn't tell me.
Exactly. And do you sell socks over there, right? Red. Not you. I mean, they sell. Socks.
I know, but I haven't seen stores selling socks, especially.
I have to check that out. Yeah.
No, but yeah, Fruška Gora. Kruševac is this lovely place because there are lots of banyas around, and Kopanik is close by. So you're invited, Michael.
Thank you very much. What are banyas?
Banya?
Like a spa resort. Basically with like how do you say healthy water? Like how is that?
Yeah, mineral water.
But yeah, so
like
it's
springs,
not,
I guess.
Springs, right? Exactly, it's springs. And it's not like a spa as if you have such an amazing treatment, but the thing is that there's lots of nature, there's like healthy water that you can drink, and usually is so, fresh air and so on, and you go over there to, also there's like thermal water and so on, probably some places where you can go and just like swim in that healthy water. So yeah.
So we were talking about Michael's visiting Kruševac and then banyas. So
yeah,
I was gonna tell you, like, there are 3-4 big banyas here. So they are like spas, and they are all famous and beautiful places in the forests, and beautiful restaurants they have. So definitely worth visiting.
Have you heard of Vrnjačka banja?
Yes.
Yeah, that one is quite popular.
30
actually.
minutes from here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
We have beautiful Ribarska banja, Soko banja.
Soko banja, yeah.
Prolom banja.
Prolom voda.
Prolom voda, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So many things. Okay, next question then. We want to talk about a little bit stereotypes for bits here, right?
Yeah, we covered Serbian stereotypes a bit, although there's so many more. But I just want to ask you some of the ones, like the non too extreme ones. So Brits love tea. Is this true or false?
True.
You?
For me?
And you? Yeah.
Oh, false.
False. Oh, interesting. Black tea?
Well, I do love a nice cuppa, to be honest. It's nice, but I don't love it. I don't need it to live off. But black tea is great.
Okay, that's cool. And next one, they apologize a lot. You want to?
Yes. Yes.
Kind
yes.
of.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. No, I do apologize.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah. It goes like hand in hand with what you said. It's kind of like you don't like confrontation as well, so that's why you try to also have like very diplomatic, like, apologize if you offended someone, and so very polite. Yes. Then the third one is you always talk about the weather.
Oh yeah. Yes, always, because it's always raining, it's always gray, it's not even rain, it's drizzle. It's like God is just spitting a little bit at us, and it's just gray.
What about the summer? It gets no rain, hopefully, or like not as much, and can you, like, is it hot enough that you can, like, swim and do whatever? Typical.
Yeah, it depends really. Some summers will be very warm and some will be a bit cooler, and sometimes there'll be a heat wave in the UK, which is about 30 degrees, not like 40 over here. So everyone's like, oh my God, it's 30 degrees. I'm dying. I'm so hot. And if you go to Serbia, some days in the center of a city, it's about 45 degrees.
Yes, but I also noticed that there's a similar thing in Germany, like as well. They're like, oh my God, it's 31. I can't believe it. And I'm like, it's normal. But the thing is that here, not everyone, actually almost no one has AC, which for us, if you see on the buildings, everyone has it. Like there's no, like we're already prepared. You know what I mean? So we can survive. But also I remember being it being 40 and I'm at the beach and like, it's just like normal, you know? So yeah.
And another one, getting burnt on vacations.
Like all red.
I mean, I'm red now. I was in the sun yesterday and I even got a little bit red. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Yes. It's all about training yourself, you know? It's like persistence and motivation, like being very, you know, very, very, like making it a habit, you know, to go outside. And definitely a mentality I took from Serbia. It's like, be outside a lot. Train your skin. But yeah.
Okay. We have some quick questions for you. So let's go one by one, maybe.
So is this a quick fire round?
Yeah, it's like a rapid question.
But it's more than 5.
Yeah. So I will give you 2 options. You say which one you like more. Okay. Let's start. Pljeskavica or cevapi?
Cevapi.
Okay. Supa or chorba?
Chorba.
Sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds?
Pumpkin seeds.
Okay.
Chiririca or latnica?
Oh, latnica.
Obviously.
Okay. Vojvodina or Serbia? When I say Serbia, I mean like below Vojvodina.
Vojvodina. Vojvodina, bre.
Yeah, but you're in Belgrade.
Oh gosh.
Which is okay. Yeah. Okay.
But you said Fruška Gora. So for Fruška
Gora, that's true. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries. Belgrade or Novi Sad? I guess I know the answer though.
Do you actually? I don't think I know.
Is it Vojvodina?
Because of Fruška Gora, not because of Novi Sad.
Let's see.
Belgrade.
Okay,
oh, okay. This one was from me comparing the rivers, but you go ahead.
No. You do it.
Okay. Thames versus Danube.
Danube.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. That's great. So, Michael, I'm sure our followers will be very curious about your podcast. So, where can we find you? Like we've already mentioned, but let's remind your Instagram and YouTube one more time.
So, you can find me on YouTube at English Podcast in Serbia, the same name for Instagram, and Spotify as well. All English Podcasts in Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Very good.
Good. Well, we are really happy that you took the time to be with us and just to kind of get to know each other. And we are really looking forward to everything that you have planned. And we are watching your podcast. I'm on YouTube actually, because I'm like a YouTube girl. I don't know where Maki, maybe you're Spotify, but I love to see.
I watched your episodes on YouTube as well, because they have beautiful videos, right? You're talking face to face to people. So
yeah, exactly. So we're looking forward to see what else you got in store. So yeah, hvala puno.
We wish you best of luck with your show.
Hvala puno.
And hopefully maybe you're gonna meet in Kruševac. What about that?
Let's plan a winter vacation together. Come on.
Oh, that's actually a
Sure.
really good idea.
You haven't been here in winter, Ivana, so that's
That's
in your
true.
bucket list, right?
Koponik, yes, but not nowhere else. Nowhere else. That's true. Okay, done.
All right.
Dogovoreno. Vidimo
Great.
All
se.
right. Čujemo
Hvala.
se.
Vidimo se.
Prijetno.